Hola amigos, bien o no, saludos desde Medellín. El tema de hoy es cómo poder prepararnos para hacer una presentación. Es el tema de hoy. So, hello again. Um, Today's topic I'm taking based on recent experience with one of my students who I'm working on helping get ready for a presentation that she's going to have to give to a new client. So I'm going to talk today about how we're getting ready for that, because some of the techniques we've used to prepare it are very applicable in um, other situations as well, but particularly this type of topic. So we have a presentation to prepare rather. So we're going to visit our client and talk about our expertise, our job, whatever, the project we're looking to work with them on. That part of it's okay because clearly that's our expertise. We know what we want to talk about. We can work on translating that, looking at the best ways for us to say that. And as we discussed in a recent video, remember to keep the language simple. Don't make it overcomplicated. Just because you've written it down doesn't mean it's sayable, so that's a way to look at perhaps using some different synonyms, something that makes it easier to say, still nice and clear, and you can save the complicated language for any kind of follow-up email or correspondence you're going to have with the client. So that's the first part of the thing to prepare. It's like, what are you going to say in your presentation? Then you can look at what other types of ways you might need to introduce yourself while you're there on the visit or when you're meeting this group of people, because some of these interactions might just be more casual, more social, just about asking who the other person is, what they do, saying briefly what you do, sharing contact details, this type of thing. So practice those separately. So it's like two elements. Then the third one is when it gets more interesting. Now, this comes under the general heading of questions. Now, we can predict easily questions we would like to ask, in this case, the client. That's fine. You can prepare those. That's okay. But one thing is very difficult for us to know for sure is what questions the client will ask of us. This is where it gets tricky. But the easiest way to deal with that is to think about not the exact wording of the questions, but think about the key words that they're likely to use. And by keywords, we can really think of the types of questions. What kind of information are they going to be looking for? And that's going to be very relevant to the type of job you do, the type of products you work on with your client, because the questions are going to be basically around that. Now, you don't have to worry in detail about every word of every type of question they're going to ask you. You just need to think carefully about what are the key words that indicate like the topic areas or the subject areas that they're likely to ask me about my specialist subject. Because all we're listening for then is the key word. Regardless of the question, we're just listening for the key word, and that's the piece we can prepare. So for each of the key words that are commonly used to talk about your particular subject, you need to think about some type of descriptive answer for each of those key words. And then when you hear that key word in the question, whatever that question is, you can just repeat back that key word in the question and start your answer using some variation of the general information you've already prepared. So think of it like that. Don't get too nervous about, they could ask me all these questions, I won't understand them. Really, what we're listening for, honestly, is just the key word in that question, which is indicating what topic area they're asking about. And as long as you prepare those topic areas, which are easier to do, you'll have something to say. So that's the tip for today. If you're doing a presentation, obviously there are elements you can control, so do as much prep on that as you can. Remember to keep it simple so it's easier to say. But as far as questions you're going to receive from the people you're presenting to, don't worry too much about all the potential detail that could be. Think carefully about the key words that best describe your specialism or the thing you're going to go talk about. Think about what you would say around each of those key words and use that as something you can prepare to be ready to answer those questions. There we go. So I hope you find that one helpful. Déjame saber, como siempre, en los comentarios. But for now, from Regine, it's Cheerio.